Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I've got a fun little bonus video for you today. I'm making some resin letter beaded keychains. Now, I've done a lot of beaded tutorials on my channel. Some of them are my most popular videos that span back 6 years ago. And I've also done a resin letter keychain, but I haven't combined the two. I also got a new letter resin mold that I wanted to try out with you guys, and I think it's way cuter than the old one I did. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got 15 milliliters of epoxy left over from a project I was working on earlier. I'm using my Flynn Sisters Artist Cure epoxy, and I've divided it into 3 different medicine cups. I'm going to be adding 3 different color glitters in 3 different textures: a chunky, a medium, and a fine. And then I'm going to mix up the colors. Of course, you don't have to use 3 different glitters, but I wanted this to have some depth and dimension to it, almost to look like tie-dye glitter in a way. So I'm going to mix up that glitter. You can see really closely how much glitter I've actually added. We want to make sure that we don't add enough to where it changes the texture of the epoxy, but also we want enough to have full saturation of color. You may have to add more, but just remember you can't take away. So less is more to start. And then I'm going to just start pouring it into my mold in kind of random spots so that you can see all 3 different glitter colors. If you want your glitter and your epoxy to really stay put in the mold, let your epoxy sit for a few minutes before you get started with mixing and pouring it. This epoxy probably had been sitting for like 10 minutes. The pot life on my Flynn Sisters Artist Cure epoxy is 45 minutes, so you have plenty of time to play around. I'm sorry I'm a little bit out of frame for this shot, but really all I'm doing is kind of layering those different glitter epoxy mixtures so that we can create a really pretty kind of tie-dye effect. Once I get all of my epoxy poured into my mold, I am just going to spritz this with some 91% rubbing alcohol. This is going to help any remaining bubbles rise to the surface. If you wanted to, you could also spray your mold with a quick spritz prior to adding in your epoxy. This will also help remove any bubbles. However, the epoxy that I'm working with had little to no bubbles in the mixing cup because it had been sitting, and my Artist Cure works really, really well for applications like this. So once I've got that spritzed, I'm going to set this in a very level, safe place to dry, and I'm going to let it dry overnight. Here's what we have the next morning. Like a kid at Christmas, I was so excited to demold this and see how perfect it turned out. Look at how beautiful. Absolutely love it. Now, the table that I had this drying on wasn't fully level, so I'm going to have some doming work to do on the back to get this totally perfect. So I'm going to be using some UV resin. I will link the one that I'm using down below in the description box. And I'm going to just add in enough to kind of fill the well there where it's kind of concaved in from the mold. And then I'm going to be very carefully brushing the remainder of the back of our piece with the UV resin, being careful not to let any drip down on the sides. If we don't like physically move the UV resin off to the side, it's going to stop right at the corner. So like if there's no reservoir for it to pour down, it's not going to pour down. It's usually going to kind of stay put against the corner of our piece. So using a silicone brush tool, I'm just pulling it to where it's going to cover the entirety of the back of our piece here. Of course, this step is totally optional. However, I think this just adds to a much more finished, professional looking product than if you were to just leave it straight from the mold. After I very carefully spread out my UV resin and have it domed nice and smooth, I'm going to put this under the UV light to cure. Next, I'm going to create a little acrylic charm to add to our piece. This is totally optional. I got this charm from Zindy's years ago. I'm not sure if they still sell them. If they do, I will try and link them down below, but this is like a 1-inch acrylic heart charm. They come with 2 protective films, one on either side, and I've already removed the protective film from one side, leaving the opposite side intact. I'm going to do some light sanding with 120 grit sandpaper to take the gloss off our acrylic. I'm going to clean that with some rubbing alcohol and paper towel. And now we're going to be using UV resin to add the glitter. I've poured a very small portion of UV resin into 2 different medicine cups, and using the same couple glitters that I used for the resin mold, I'm going to pour just a smidgen on top of that UV resin, and we'll mix it in with our silicone brush tool. Just enough to kind of cover the top there. We don't want to add too much. And then using my silicone brush tool, I'm just going to very carefully paint on that glittered UV resin onto the top of our acrylic piece, making sure to avoid the hole. I have a plethora of acrylic blank keychain videos on my channel. Again, these are all really old videos, and so I wanted to create some more updated ones because number one, I get a lot of complaints about my acrylic nails in my old videos where I'm making keychains, saying that my nails were distracting. And so here you go. Here's an updated video of me with no nails, doing the same process with a little more updated kind of equipment and skill, I suppose. I've been doing this now for a long time. Some of those videos are 5 or 6 years old, so it just feels good to kind of revamp them. I hope you guys enjoy this. I love making keychains. It's one of my favorite projects, and it's just a great way to use any excess materials that you may have laying around. After I get the UV resin and glitter spread onto my acrylic blank, I'm going to put it under the UV light to cure. Once it's cured, I'll remove that other piece of protective film from the back of it, and now we're ready to assemble our keychain. I've got a lobster claw clasp keychain here, and I'm going to be removing the lobster claw portion of the keychain from the jump ring. These jump rings are really hard to open and close because they're like from the keychain manufacturer. They're really thick. But anyway, you're just going to open the keychain vertically rather than horizontally. So you're going to spread them apart vertically instead of pulling them apart. And then once you have that lobster claw clasp out, we're going to set it aside, because I'm going to use the remaining rings on that keychain to attach our acrylic blank so that all of our hardware matches. You can just use one of these. As long as you're attaching a small enough piece, that keychain ring should do. And we're going to open and close that jump ring there the same way that we did the first, spreading it apart vertically rather than pulling it apart horizontally. So now it's on there, super cute. And now let's do the beaded keychain portion. I've got some stretchy elastic thread here. It's 1 millimeter. I get this question a lot in my keychain videos. What kind of string are you using? I will link this exact one down below in the description box. But I like to use this kind of thicker, I think it's called Crystal Tech or something, elastic thread. And we are going to use some beads from my shop. These are part of my Deluxe bead mix. And we're just going to string our elastic through the hole on our mold, which I love that that mold actually has a hole, so I don't have to deal with eyelets. And then we're going to thread on our beads using both ends of that elastic. I think the hardest part is picking out what beads to use because they're just all so pretty. But anyway, once we have those threaded on, we're going to run both ends of our elastic through the ring on our keychain lobster claw clasp deal. The reason I like to run through that loop instead of a jump ring is because the elastic will remain secure in that closed loop, whereas with a jump ring, there's an opening and there's a possibility that could slip out. Anyway, once we have it looped around the lobster claw clasp hole, we're going to go back down through the first bead. And with our remaining slack there on our string, we want to loop that around our finger, middle finger and our pointer finger, loop the end of the strands around the strand of beads there, and then go through the loop that we created with our pointer finger and our middle finger, and then pull hard to create an anchoring knot. This is just to keep everything in place while we do our real knot. For our real knot, we're going to do a simple over and under knot going one way and pulling tight, and then we'll go over and under the opposite way. So if on the first run we did over and under to our left, we'll go over and under to our right, and then pull as hard as we can without snapping our thread, of course, and trim off the excess with about a 1/10 or 1/8 of an inch of slack remaining. I'm going to hide the knot through our beads there by kind of just stretching everything out and letting it come back into place. We want to make sure that we maintained a good amount of tension so that our beads aren't all loosey-goosey. You'll see here in the frame just how tight everything really is. This might take a little bit of practice to get, just to make sure that you have the right amount of tension. So you can see here it is pretty tight. From here, I decided that I wanted to add the heart charm on the chain to the lobster claw hole there so that it was closer to our resin piece. So I just took it off from the jump ring off of the key ring piece and then attached it to the hole on the lobster claw clasp. And that was it for finishing this keychain. I absolutely love how it turned out. I am using this for the keys to my warehouse because my old warehouse keychain was ugly and always got lost in my purse, and I was always losing my keys. But now I will never lose my keys because this is so bright and beautiful and easy to find in my purse. Let me know what you guys thought about this tutorial, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. If you love this video, you could check out our last video here. Also be sure to find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course subscribe for all our new videos that come out every Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.